Welcome back to Silverstone for the final race of this particular edition of Race and Rally UK. It's the second race of the weekend for the Nippon Challenge. Cars in the assembly area and just about to be signalled out onto the circuit is our pole position man, number 36, Maxim Taylor. He was the winner of race 1, of course, and the man who made the best start to race 1 on both occasions after the red flag as well was number 23, Graham Pulteney. He lines up alongside Taylor on the front of the grid. On row number 2, Tony Crosley in the RX7, hoping for a position one better this time. He finished second early on. And next to him in the Civic is Chris Dunlop, and then we've got the MR2s led by Chris Huntley on row number 3. And a vast amount of MX5s as well, more than 20 of those cars, and as we were hearing earlier on, they'll get their own races later on in the season, so that will be a great spectacle indeed, with more of the modified type cars hoping to come out in the Nippon Challenge as the season goes by. Interesting to see a series of races devised for cars from just one country. Of course, we had the Italian Intermark Challenge back in the late 1980s. That morphed into the LMA Euro Saloons as we know it now. We see it regularly here on Race in Rally UK. Race about to get underway. We're on board with Chris Huntley.
And it's Chris Huntley who's been a good starter in the 2 starts that we've had prior to this one. Of course, the earlier race was red flagged, and it looks like the Mark II MR2 gets away well this time as well, but it's the Subaru Impreza, I think, which gets the best of the starts. Yes, indeed, Stephen Pulteney then leading the field ahead of Tony Crosley in his green Mazda RX7, so Maxim Taylor having to settle for 3rd place at best. But it does seem to be getting very fraught at the head of the field. You can see the top 3 just disappearing over the horizon there towards the Beckett's and Maggots complex. We go on board though with Sam Mayer-Lochnan, who is much further down the order in his Mark I Toyota MR2, but mixing it up well with a whole gaggle of Mazda MX-5s for company, heading into the right-hander at Beckett's. And down the National Straight, the leaders come now. The Subaru Impreza still ahead, so he's not been overtaken yet by an RX7, so this is a launch into the unknown for Stephen Pulteney. Tony Crosley is trying every effort here to get past, but at the moment without success. Maxim Taylor still in 3rd position as they head around Luffield to complete this opening lap then. 4th place is the Honda Civic. No, it's not, I beg your pardon, it's Chris Huntley in the MR2 Mark II Turbo, so that means Chris Dunlop's Honda Civic down to 5th place, but these top 3 cars really breaking away from the rest of this massive field. And up the inside here comes Tony Crosley. Can he make that move stick in the number 7 Mazda RX7? He's going to try to run alongside then down the straight towards the right-hander at Beckett's. I think he might have that move done by the time they get there. We go back on board though for the moment with Chris Dunlop.
Dunlop in 5th position. They're not able to make much impression on the Chris Huntley MR2 ahead of us, sending his way into Beckett's there as we look at the lead battle, which is already heading up the National Straight and into Brooklands Corner. Still not got the lead away though, hasn't Tony Crosley. He might have a chance here. He's got the inside liners. Look at the flames spitting out of the back of that car. Absolutely great stuff there. And we've got 3 cars for the lead because Maxim Taylor has closed right in on them now. It's Graham Pulteney ahead in the number 23 car. He's still there. He's been leading now for 2 laps, so this is as much as he's managed all afternoon, so he's going pretty well, and a long gap back to the 4th position. They're not even in shot. There goes Tony Crosley. He's finally made that move stick, I think. Started it at Woodcote Corner, I should say. Down towards Copse Corner they go, but no, sweeping back ahead in a straight line. Maybe the speed advantage for the number 23 car, the Subaru, but he's put that to waste now, hasn't he, by running wide at Copse Corner. He's going to tuck back into 2nd place. Tony Crosley keeping it nice and tidy, using all of his race experience to get into the lead of the race then in that number 7 car. Magnificent looking Mazda RX7. And then we've got the Subaru Impreza number 23, and then the 2nd of the RX7s in the shape of Maxim Taylor. Now looking back here, this is the battle among the Toyota MR2s, the MX5s, to beg your pardon. There is an MR2 talking about one. That's the 71 car of David Cross. I think it was Eugene O'Brien up ahead in the first of the MX5s possibly. Yeah, there he is, 57. And then the battle for 2nd and 3rd among the MX5 class looks to be between the 1 car of John Greensmith and number 3 Tom Roach, who has been pretty successful over the last 12 months or so in MX5 racing. Back with the leaders, looks like a change there, because up into 2nd place has gone 36 Maxim Taylor.
Yeah, so now the Mazda RX7s are stamping their dominance onto this race as they did in the opening encounter. This is a real intense battle though, one to keep our eyes on. Eugene O'Brien has opened up a little gap now from new second place man John Greensmith, who's really under pressure here from Tom Roche. They might even be swapping paint as they go across the line there. Roche is pushing Greensmith all the way down towards the right-hander at Copse. I'm a little bit unsettled by Eugene O'Brien's run into Copse corner. He's done that twice now. The front left-hand wheel touches the grass and really unsettles the car. It's not something you want to be doing heading towards the fastest corner of the Silverstone circuit, but it seems to be working for him at the moment, just trying to use the maximum amount of track available to him. This second place battle within class though is very, very intense, with Greensmith ahead of Tom Roche, the number 1 car in front of number 3, and the man who's dropped back is David Cross. The field about to head into a yellow flag zone, so perhaps a car off in the Brooklands gravel.
Yeah, some dust certainly being kicked up, possibly the snatch vehicle on the way to recover a car there, but the MX-5s still racing on, but they'll have to just keep themselves to themselves in this yellow flag zone, no overtaking until they pass the green flag, which they were doing around about now at Luffield corner. So now Tom Roche can think about getting past the number 1 car of John Greensmith. Here comes the lead battle though, outright at the front of the field. It's still Tony Crosley in the number 7 car leading. Slower cars to deal with in just a moment, including the 350Z of Jim Bridge, I think. And there's the culprit for the yellow flags. The number 38 car is Lee Woodcock. His Mazda MX-5 about to be hauled out of the way by the Silverstone tractor. An unceremonious exit for that car, but overall we've had pretty good reliability and a good finishing record. That red flag incident in race 1 aside in this opening round of the Nippon Challenge, and that is very good to see. Looks like there's been a change for the lead because Maxim Taylor is now through.
And it's a dominant lead that he has coming into Brooklands. The Subaru Impreza of Stephen Poultney has really dropped back. Incidentally, the top 3 lapping this battle within the Mazda MX-5 class, so it's not the fact that Tom Roche and John Greensmith have caught up with Stephen Poultney. Stephen Poultney now a full lap ahead of this Silverstone National Circuit, but the battle amongst the Mazda MX-5s is still ongoing. Eugene O'Brien, though, leading that, and quite some distance away from Greensmith and Roche, as the 36 car of Maxim Taylor still leading this race. The novice cross on the back though, so he's only in his first handful of races of his career and going very well. On to the final lap in fact for the orange car, and this is looking like a fairly dominant lead that he'll have, so it's his to throw away certainly as he heads down the National Straight for the final time towards the complex.
So Maxim Taylor well clear out front now. There's Tony Crosley in second position, about 4 seconds or so back. Looks like Chris Dunlop actually in 5th position in the Honda Civic, possibly about to be lapped as well. I don't think Maxim Taylor's quite going to make that before we get to the checkered flag, so it's going to be a full 14-lap race distance for Chris Dunlop as well. Still the battle between the MX-5s to be decided as well. Eugene O'Brien currently on top of that one, but up to the checkered flag for the 2nd time today. It's Maxim Taylor to take the win in the Nippon Challenge in the RX7. It's going to be a 1-2 for that particular model of car this time. Tony Crosley, it is in 2nd position in the green car and a long way back in 3rd place. And I think we'll find Graham Poultney. So a win for Maxim Taylor. He'll be absolutely thrilled with that. Crosley 2nd and Poultney 3rd, as we said. Huntley and Dunlop were the only other finishers on the lead lap. Eugene O'Brien was 6th position overall and the winner of the MX-5 class, ahead of Tom Roche and John Greensmith, who ended their race-long battle in that order. Well, let's now hear from our double race winner, Maxim Taylor.
Well, Max, 2 pole positions, 2 wins, fantastic day.
Yeah, I can't be more impressed really. It's a fresh car, it's never raced in anger before. I was supposed to be doing a test session last month here to learn the track and also to help set up the car. It turned out to be just a downpour. I didn't have my rain tyres on me and it was just like a grease pan out there, so I learned absolutely nothing. Came here today, no setup time, and as you say, to get pole position for race 1 and race 2, I was overjoyed. Thinking that there was another more experienced driver behind me who's not a novice. He's done a lot of MGB racing, so I was expecting him to give me a hard time. Didn't happen in race 1, but race 2 was certainly more of a tussle. That was real racing. That was good fun.
Don't forget to join us next week on Race and Rally UK when we're off to Snetterton action from the